beautiful Riverside Lanes in Laughlin, Nevada played host to an event that offered the top bowlers on the West Coast an opportunity to achieve one of the most sought-after prizes in bowling today. The Proprietors Cup, in conjunction with BowlingEvolved.com, proudly brings to you its coverage of the first annual Laughlin Cup. Our top 5 qualifiers will bowl head-to-head to determine a champion, including 4-time PBA Senior National Champion Barry GURNEY. Laughlin, Nevada's own hometown hero, Rich WESCOM. Collegiate bowling standout, KRIS George. Amateur bowling phenomenon, Jonathan Farrell. And our top qualifier, the King of Las Vegas, David Haynes. For all this and more, stay tuned. This is the Laughlin Cup.
Hello bowling fans, this is Dustin J. Markowitz on behalf of BowlingEvolved.com for the Laughlin Cup, bringing you our footage of the matches as they come forth. Sitting alongside me, as always, is my partner in crime, the 5-time PBA National Champion, and just one heck of a nice guy, the one and only Eric Forkel. Eric, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Why do you got to keep telling people I'm nice? I am nice. You don't have to tell them.
Well, you know, it's one of those things, so.
Well, here we are. We're at the Laughlin Cup.
Yeah, who would have thought after all this time we'd be down here, after all the promoting, all the shameless plugs that we've done?
Inside the beautiful Riverside Lanes.
Absolutely. You know, it's been really great. We have a fantastic show for our audience. We have several names that you will recognize, some names you won't, but I'm sure to see a lot of great bowling tonight. Also want to say a big thank you real quick to our sponsors, the Proprietors Cup, of course, TSFC, the Southwest Financial Center, and Riverside Lanes, as you said, and all of our listeners for making this possible.
Oh, I think it's great. Like I said, we've got some...
Hey, yes, you can hear in the background, we do have the Riverside with a full 2.5-hour waiting list right now, so we're going to be dealing with that tonight, but that's okay. We'll go from there. Looks like our bowlers are ready to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, hey, we are starting the Laughlin Cup. Yeah.
So Barry's going to start the match.
Yep. As you can hear, we're kind of directing traffic as we go here. I do apologize to our fans. But that's okay. Barry GURNEY, who both these guys, which is kind of interesting, Eric, both these guys are Bowling Evolved staff members, which I think is kind of interesting that they're in our opening match.
Yes, I think that's quite apropos.
Yeah. Wow, big word.
So you got, well, I learned it yesterday. So you got Barry GURNEY, who's a 4-time PBA Seniors champion, and he's got a lot of regional titles. He's in the Southern California Hall of Fame. That shot's going to be looking pretty good.
Very nice shot by Barry.
With the strike.
Flush off the corner. You know, Barry, definitely has a very smooth style, traditional kind of bowler.
Yes.
Left-hander, which I'm okay with, but
you got to suffer through it.
Yes, I do.
You got to have at least one token on the show.
One token lefty, yeah.
So he's also a member of the Southern California Hall of Fame. He's got 6,300 games.
Gosh,
that's 6-0.
Wow.
Almost as old as he is. He's 71 years old. Yeah. He's almost got a 300 for his age. And he's got 9 800 series. So needless to say, he's got quite a few accomplishments.
Absolutely. Well, we just saw our first shot from Rich WESCOM, our number 4 seed. High through the nose, big 4 split.
So Rich is a good player, local player.
Local player.
He's an assistant manager at Safeway. Mm-hmm. He said he's been bowling for about 38 years.
Has a lot of honor scores. Most recently, as we had on our show before, he shot 800 during our win-a-spot qualifier.
He says he's fortunate to have a few honor scores, but I watched him bowl, and he's got a nice little game, so I don't think he's fortunate. I think he's got a nice game.
Yeah. Oh, he throws the ball very well. That first shot, I think,
A little bit of nerves, a little bit of jitter. Going up against the PBA champion. Even though he's a little older, he's still the PBA champion.
Absolutely. Rich is a very traditional bowler. You know, he had a lot of injuries when he was younger. He actually broke his back, tore his bicep completely off of his arm at one point while working. Managed to come together and making himself a very well-rounded bowler.
Yes, like I said, I got a chance to watch him bowl a little bit today, and he was very good.
Rich with his second
pretty
shot.
decent shot.
Good shot. Out the saws the rack. Goes through. First strike on the board for WESCOM.
Can we see that in slow motion? Nah, quite.
Maybe later on.
Maybe later on. Okay.
Post-production quality.
we could break it all down a little bit.
We're not ESPN yet, at least, well,
no,
yet.
I understand. So Gurney's going to come up on this pair on lane 2. Lane 2 has a tendency to hook a little bit more than lane 1. So if he makes a good shot, he'll be fine. But he might go high if he doesn't do the right thing. Let's see what happens. Another good shot.
Another high flush.
Look at
we
that.
want to mention that our bowlers are bowling on the sunset strip pattern provided by Kegel.
Yes.
That was a pattern suggested by Mr. Del Warren, who was on our show before.
Yeah, it's I think it's a challenge pattern or a sport pattern, one or the other.
Challenge pattern, 40 feet.
It's 40 feet long. It's pretty flat. They call it the sunset strip because the lane is set up in strips. Whether you attack it from the inside angle or the outside angle, you have to find a way to hit the pocket consistently.
Yeah. A lot of great players have struggled on this condition, surprisingly, because of the way the lanes break down. I know during qualifying today, we had many players not be able to make the right adjustments.
Yeah, well, it's not your. See that's that left lane right there.
Yeah, Arian shot out.
That left lane is a lot tighter, and when you trust the ball out there, you think it's going to make the turn, and it just goes an extra 4 or 5 feet, and it just doesn't have enough to come back. Yeah. You got to stay real straight on that left lane. That left lane's a little tricky.
Well, leading the 1-3-7, he is going to try to cross the ball over. Jersey, as the left-handers like to call it. Brooklyn for the right-handers.
That's correct.
Looks like a
Got
fairly
a
good shot. And,
right
tough break for GURNEY. Yeah.
Well, here we go. Now the match is going to snug up a little bit.
See if WESCOM can make the adjustment on 2. Well, it's kind of funny, again, 1 and 2, traditionally speaking, as you know, many of our bowlers, I'm sure, at home know this, you know, they always tend to play a little bit differently from each other in every house you go to.
Yeah, it's really something. Sometimes the lane 1 hooks a lot, sometimes it's slicker. On the left side, it looks like lane 1's a little tighter. So when you trust the ball left, it's not going to come back. I'm not sure if the right side's playing the same way, but definitely the left side played that way.
Well,
Let's see what he does on this shot here.
Oh, Rich, looks like a fairly good shot off the board. No, did not come back. Your lane 2 on that outside shot seems like that it's pushing a little harder down the lane.
Well, again, that's a characteristic of this pattern. It's done in strips. So when you trust that ball out to the right, you got to have the right cover stock and the right hand action to make the ball come back because you don't have a lot of forgiveness. Unlike if you were bowling on a house shot, that ball came screaming back into the pocket.
Absolutely.
But we wanted to put up a bit of a challenging pattern, and I feel pretty confident we definitely accomplished that.
I believe so as well. It seemed like the majority of the bowlers today were very happy with the scores. Cut scores were not ridiculously high.
It took 82 over for 5 games to make the top 5.
Conversion by WESCOM there.
217, 218 average, something like that.
Yep. Even our top qualifier was, which was Mr. David Haynes, as we announced at the beginning of the show, was plus 155. Really not, you know, you go to some of these tournaments, you know, you see a lot of 2 plus 250s for 5 games that, you know, to make a show, and fortunately we had a little bit more realistic today.
Yeah, and like I said, David coming off of bowling out on tour a little bit on that winner's swing, he's coming back here. He should be right on top of his game. You would kind of have to pick him as the favorite, obviously, because he led it, and you got to see what happens in his 1-game match.
A lot of good bowling left, a lot of good bowlers left. Rich with his 4th shot, and little light, but swishes the pins out. You know, it's funny, we talked about on the show between high pocket and low pocket. Riverside Lanes has always seemed to be traditionally much better carry in the low pocket as opposed to the high pocket. Have you found in your own bowling, Eric, that certain centers just have that characteristic more often than others?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, good carry is generated by good ball motion, and if your ball motion is good, all of a sudden you carry a bunch of different pockets. Now this ball should come back on that lane.
Very good shot by GURNEY in the.
So the right lane is, I don't think, is going to be the problem. I think the problem with him is he's going to have to get it started up to the pocket on the left lane. He's going to have to lead the ball up toward the head pin and let the ball settle, because if he trusts it to the left, it's not going to make it back. So that's going to be his Waterloo is going to be the left lane. That's the truth.
I will say right now, at least as far as we are concerned with bowlingevolved.com, this is a fantastic way to start our show. I'm very proud of both of these bowlers today, and you know, really represents our brand very well. At least I would hope.
Yes, I'm very pleased with that. I think that's pretty cool. Very good. See, he kept that ball real straight up the lane. That ball went down and in about 7-8. Right flush. So let's see what Rich does on the right lane.
Rich coming up here in the 5th frame. I do want to apologize to some of our fans at home. Like, we have a lot of open play bowlers in here tonight. Great to see the recreational side of it going.
Pretty nice shot right there.
Yep. Little high. Oh, out of trouble. Leaves a 4 pin.
Pretty good shot. And by the way, Rich really does look like Doug Kent. He is your Laughlin Doug Kent.
The Laughlin Doug Kent.
So he should go to Indianapolis for the Hall of Fame induction and step
Absolutely.
out on stage and see what they would, if they would say, you're Doug, right? You can go get his Hall of Fame induction.
I think what's interesting, this is the first competitive tournament, Rich was talking to me before the show today, that he has bowled in since 2001 that was not simply a local fun tournament. This is the first scratch event that he's bowled since 2001.
I like the fact that he takes 6 steps. He has a unique 6-step approach.
There's a conversion by WESCOM on lane 2. Working off of the spare, GURNEY working off of the double going into the 6th. He is definitely a throwback kind of bowler with the you don't see the 6-step too often anymore.
Well, you see, like I said, you see a few people who, like I said, Weber does it, Duke does it, and he does it, of course. It's just a giddy-up step. They just feel comfortable taking that odd step there. But it's kind of fun to watch because it's different.
Did you ever experiment with the 6-step approach?
I have. Actually, it's not too bad. It's just a way to get started. Let's count them.
WESCOM up in the 6th frame.
3, 4, 5, 6 steps. There it is.
Comes through the
That's
ball.
a good pitch right there.
Yep, good shot. And, comes out.
Ball just didn't corner early enough. It went a pinch too long. It just didn't make the turn quick enough.
I think that comes back to the strips of oil on the lane. You you hit a little bit of skid area, ball continues going straight, does not get the back end.
I mean, that's the tough part about the pattern.
Definitely has just a beautiful release, beautiful stroke.
Yes, he's got good hand action. He goes to the ball very well.
I think potentially, if he decides to keep bowling these kind of events, that he could be a big force to be reckoned with down the road.
Absolutely.
Comes up for the spare conversion. Makes it no problem.
He's a spare.
Another 10 pin into 10. One thing I love too, and Barry and Rich both do this, I love the fact that you have the little camaraderie between the bowlers. You have a lot of people that don't like the fist pumps or the high five.
I don't do that.
You don't do that.
No, when you're down there competing, when it's all over, you can go out and buy your buddy a drink or a beer. And when you're competing, I think you should just basically try to kill each other. It's called competition. When you're bowling league, you can high-five everybody. But when you're out there competing, I think you should compete. When you watch other sports, when they're playing basketball or other sports, when they're competing against each other, most of the time the opposing team does not congratulate each other. They do when the game is over.
When the game is
But
over.
in the middle of competition, when the guy hits the home run, the other team doesn't go out in there and give him a high five, do they?
Yeah, but bowling.
The answer is no.
The camaraderie between bowling is a little bit different than other sports.
I understand that, but in my opinion, when you're competing, you should compete. When it's over, you shake hands and say, nice bowling, nice match. But when you're competing, compete. That's my opinion.
Yeah, well, you're entitled to it.
I understand. I'm sticking with it. I like competition. That's the tougher lane.
Yep, GURNEY trying to,
Yeah, good shot though.
Yep.
Ball just in. Good shot though. Very competitive shot.
Score is really not, GURNEY obviously with the lead here, not running away with the match by any means though. Big spare conversion here.
Yes.
Corner pin's never a favorite for any bowler, but obviously as someone with Barry's experience must have an advantage in this kind of a situation.
You would like to think so.
Comes up to make a spare and converts it.
Very
shot by
good.
Barry. WESCOM.
Looks like Barry's shooting 2-1.
Yep.
And Rich is shooting 190.
Yep. Maximum of 244 for Barry GURNEY at this point. Another flash announcement from our helpful Riverside staff. Again, you know, the one nice thing, though, it is a little bit of a hindrance for a telecast, but I will say that at least it's good to see this much business inside a bowling center. You know, it's a welcome change to, unfortunately, a lot of centers across the United States right now.
No, I think this is very cool. Hopefully people will enjoy it.
WESCOM up. Trying to get
that.
Yep. And, oh wow.
There you go.
Brings everything forward. One of those.
You can see that ball went a little bit. He's made a pretty good pitch. Maybe threw it a tad faster, and the ball went a little bit longer, like it should on this. Like I said, it's speed sensitive, it's angle sensitive, and that's why the scores are in the moderate range, medium to low, except for a few people can create a little more area, open things up a little bit.
Well, the beauty of it is when the night comes, or push comes to shove, unfortunately it's being televised right now, but you can always see at the end of the night that, you know, that was high flush. That wasn't light at all.
10 is 10, no matter how they fall, right?
Exactly. Rich coming up in the 8th frame.
That's a little left off his hand.
He's another big 4 split. That's going to put him in a big hole here, Eric.
Yeah, that's I don't want to say an amateur mistake because professionals make that mistake too, but it's the first time he's been in this environment from what I'm understanding, and you know, the pressure, trying to make good shots under the lights, under the gun, and your swing gets a little tight, your footwork gets a little off, and the next thing you know, you're looking at a big 4.
Yep, trying to make a hurry. Oh, loses some sticks there. It looked like he was trying to maybe bounce it off the wall.
You know, it's always easier. I've never made a bad shot from this side of the settee. I never made a bad shot from back here. It's always when you're out there those bad shots come up.
I don't know. When I used to do trick bowling, I used to throw shots in the settee area.
Yep.
That's another video for Bowling Evolved.
Yes.
GURNEY coming up in the 8th.
It's a little bit right.
Yeah. Oh. Now this match, that's an interesting shot from GURNEY.
Kind of made a poor shot there, and he's going to pay the full price. But fortunately for him, his opponent struggled a little bit as well. He might be able to make this. This is very makeable, believe it or not.
And pin count is very important here. Definitely have to be thinking about trying to get the 3. And wow,
there you go.
Fantastic shot by Barry GURNEY.
That's a senior spare, veteran
Senior spare.
I should say a super senior spare.
Senior.
That's what happens when you're older. See, you got all that years of experience.
Wow, great shot. You know, obviously, I always loved the way Barry is throwing the ball. I mean, just, you know, nothing really fancy about his game. Just consistent over and over again, and makes the shots when they need to be made.
That's it. That's a good pitch.
Yep, another good shot.
If he can come back that left lane and then figure out make a good shot on the right lane, he's in good shape. He's definitely going to be the winner of our first match.
Well, short of falling in the gutter on 2 consecutive shots, but I don't see that happening, unfortunately. Or fortunately, obviously, for Mr. GURNEY, and unfortunately for Mr. WESCOM. But, you know, again, a lot of kudos out to Rich. Did very well, won the winner spot, made the telecast. Hey, not a lot of guys can say that. A lot of guys went home unhappy today.
Yeah, that would be correct. And that's what happens. A little bit wide. See, that's the tough part of this pattern, especially pair to pair. You know, you catch a pair, the strip and re-oil, the lanes keep getting re-oiled, and it just changes that break point a little bit. That's the trickiest thing, is to control the break point. All the good bowlers have to find a way to, by controlling the break point, I mean, when you miss a little bit right, the ball still comes up. Not when you miss right, it goes too far. That just means you're not controlling, you don't have a good control of the break point where the ball takes its turn. It becomes very speed sensitive, and you pay the price.
WESCOM with the conversion in the 9th. That's going to lock out the game and lock it in for Barry GURNEY, advancing to the next round, taking on our next competitor here, KRIS George.
Now talking about an age difference, now you're going to have a big age difference. He could be his son.
Or possibly grandson.
This could be his grandson.
Hopefully Barry doesn't hear the show.
That's got a chance.
That's a good shot. Oh.
Yes, I met his grandson.
Yeah. But, yeah, George was a former collegiate bowler for UNLV, but again, absolutely nothing to be ashamed of for Rich WESCOM. Bowled very well today. You know, made the telecast, and you know, for a guy that is just, you know, really getting into the competitive side of things, I think that he should be very happy with his performance today.
Yes, I agree.
Makes a spare.
Chalk it up to experience. The next time he comes and bowls something like this, he'll have a little more experience.
Absolutely, and I know he'll be back out on the lanes in no time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as Rich continues and finishes out here, we are going to be continuing our broadcast. We will have a short break. Of course, during our commercial here, we will be showing the trivia giveaway that we're going to be doing here in between matches.
There you go. That's a good pitch right there.
Up the boards and blows it out. 168 for Rich WESCOM. Tough pattern, tough pattern. Yep. Possibly, a little bit of energy from not bowling. I mean, he did shoot 10 games in qualifying, which obviously had to have taken its toll today.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're not used to the competitive
That
condition.
means Barry is one step closer to the cup.
Yes, he is. Ooh, kind of an arrogant shot there, but doesn't need it at all at this point, so hopefully it was just kind of to get a feel for the lane.
No, it's not the way you'd like to finish the game, but fortunately the match is already over, and you use that as a, just let it go. On to the next one.
Barry lining up to convert the spare. 4-7-8. And, woo. Chops the 4-7-8.
There you have it.
Yeah, interesting. 198 to 168, 30-pin difference.
168.
Big round of applause, Barry
right.
Gurney advancing on. Ladies and gentlemen, stick around when we come back. Our next match.
Stop it.
Okay, welcome back, bowlers.
Oh,
Barry
ring
Gurney.
7, good shot.
Yeah.
The ubiquitous 7-pin,
Yep.
there you go.
Very interesting here. We have Gurney moving on, taking on KRIS George, as we said.
KRIS George, what's the story with KRIS George? Young kid.
Absolutely.
His high game is 300. He's got about 8 of them. His high series would be 808. I'm assuming that's for 3 games.
I'm hoping so.
There you go.
Gurney with the conversion.
There you
Makes
go.
a spare on lane 1.
He lives in Vegas. He bowled
Bold for UNLV.
collegially for UNLV. Very cool. And he won a ton of junior bowler titles.
JBT, which JBT obviously very
Yeah.
popular on the
Yeah.
West Coast here. 25 JBT titles.
Yeah, so obviously he's a very skilled player. Young kid. Was he 25?
25 years old,
25
I believe.
years old, and Barry is a little bit older than that.
I believe he's
And
25.
there you go. That just goes to show you that in bowling you can be of any age.
Yep. Hopefully, if he listens and we're wrong on that, he won't hold it against us. Ooh, and Stokes with a beautiful strike.
Right out the bat.
Yep.
Strike, nice shot. Look at the way the 10-pin went off the deck. That looked pretty good. Let's see what happens on the left line.
Absolutely. Definitely gets the ball down a little early. A lot of power behind us,
Contemporary game, modern game.
Yep.
He's kind of a bit of a tweener, I would say. He's not real straight, but he doesn't really buzz it up. He's kind of in between.
Stays behind the ball fairly well, it
Yeah.
seems like.
Rolls it nice into the lane. Let's see what he does on this lane.
Feet, left foot a little bit ahead of the right foot on the approach and the start. Comes up behind the ball. And, ooh.
Now you see that's that lane 1 again.
Yeah.
That ball pushed a little longer, so for whatever reason, the left lane is playing a little tighter, and the players have to adjust with either speed or a different bowling ball to try to make the adjustment.
Well, we left the 2-7 here on lane 1. It's tough pair. A lot of different people have struggled in this house throughout the years since the inception of this bowling center. 1 and 2 has always kind of been that pair that people seem to dread for whatever reason.
You never know what you're going to get with 1 and 2. That's
Comes
for sure.
through and wow.
Good spare.
Makes it the hard way. Good
Picks
shot.
up the baby split.
Yep. Kind of a non-traditional way of picking that up, but whatever works.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's probably not the way you want it, but he'll take the conversion, of course.
Absolutely. Gurney
Let's see
coming
what
up.
Barry does here on the right lane. The last couple shots he's thrown at it's been a little bit off. He just has to make a good shot because there's a nice look on that lane. You just got to execute a good shot. A little bit nicer shot.
Yeah. Comes up behind the ball and flush.
And he threw the ball very nice, and he carried on that shot.
Carry, as we talked about on the show, and as you talked about quite a bit, carry is such a key with bowling. You could be bowling the best of your ability and just not get the score.
Well, and I know Barry bowled 2 sets. In the second set, he made it into the finals, In the first set, I told him his ball was not, it was too shiny. His ball was going too far. It wasn't reading the pattern. So I explained to him about altering the surface of the ball, and that seemed to make a big difference. And he scored a lot better.
What ball is Barry throwing today, Rich?
It looks like he's throwing an IQ, pick a name. Good shot there.
Eric.
He's throwing an IQ Tour. Matter of fact, one of the newer balls from Storm. It's a very aggressive ball. It's a solid. And we put a little surface on it to get it to read a little faster, because when he threw it on the first set, it was going too far, and it wasn't reading the pattern right. We dulled it up a little bit, and it looks much, much better.
Yeah, I was laughing at Rich. I saw him just sit down, so I do apologize. He sat down in our broadcast area here. Of course, you do kind of look like Rich. I'm just going to say, you guys got the same hairdo going, so.
Yes. We got the look. Pretty good pitch there.
Ooh. Little far outside.
That ball just, like I said, that's the trouble spot there. That is a trouble spot right there.
2-10 split, back-to-back splits, converted the baby split. This is going to be a little bit more difficult. Going to have to try to slide the ball on the left side of the 2-pin, kick it over.
Now, it's interesting because this could be a situation where, you know, the person in the first match might march all the way to the title. You know, they get a feel for the lanes and playing a little straighter, a little more down and in. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens.
Now, Eric, you were in this position many times on the PBA Tour. Did you prefer bowling the more games to the step ladder, or did you prefer being on top?
Well, I was fortunate to win from...
Wow, great conversion by KRIS.
I was fortunate to win from both spots, from the fifth spot and from the lead. I always thought it was tougher to win from the lead, to be honest with you. You kind of get a game under your belt, and you kind of get the feel for the lanes, and get your feet under you, and you just kind of get accustomed to what's going on out there, and you kind of build some momentum. I think it's a slight advantage to the player who's on the pair before the next match has started. KRIS has picked up a couple of challenging splits, of course, which is keeping him right in the match.
Yeah, he's definitely playing the lanes to, you know, trying to power through what's going out there. Coming up on lane 1.
It's a little better pitch right there.
It's ball out. High flush.
That was pretty clean off his hand. Straighter through the front, didn't give it up to the right. Good shot, and that's what the pattern demands, and that's why we did it.
And this is definitely a byproduct, as we talked about many times before, of the collegiate program. Here's I say kid, he's not that much younger than I am, that went through the ranks and now is competing on, you know, a bigger stage and has an opportunity to, you know, really make a name for himself, bowling against one of the greatest senior PBA players in the history of the game.
See, there you go. And there you have it. That's what it's all about. Let's see where this one goes.
Fourth frame, GURNEY.
Answers are very good. Good shot. Now see, that right lane, he's a little bit deeper than on the left lane, and so far it looks pretty good.
3 in a row for Barry GURNEY.
Keeping the pressure on. Kind of, you know, you got to do that. You got to keep the heat on because it's a one-game match. Anything can happen in a one-game match.
Anyone can beat anyone on any given day.
That's what they say.
Maximum score of 290 for Barry GURNEY right now, coming up in the 5th frame. So poised in these situations too, Eric. I guess all that experience out on tour definitely pays off.
Barry was out on that senior tour for almost over 20 years. Pretty good shot right there.
Shot.
Wow,
Barry's
look at that.
4 in a row.
What a good shot that was.
Yeah. As a shout out to our friends on the PBA, ham bone, is that what they are calling it these days?
No, it's a four-bagger.
It's a four-bagger, that's what I always call it. But
let's
you know.
call it a four-bagger, please. You can call it a ham bone.
I never called it a ham bone.
I'd like to call it a four-bagger.
You know, growing up, it was 4-bagger, 5-bagger, 6 for me, 7-bagger. You know, not ham bone.
Well, that had its place, I guess. That will go down in PBA folklore as the ham bone, which is fine.
Yeah, for bowling evolved purposes, it's a 4-bagger.
We're calling it a four-bagger.
George up on lane 2, and
look at this.
10 pin. Oh, almost got a little help there. A little bit flat on the back end. Do you think the oil's starting to push down already?
No, I just think that the right-handers, when they swing the ball away, it just makes the pattern very challenging to carry. I think a little straighter is better. Now, in our final match is David Haynes. He can send the ball to the right, but he's got a lot more hand. He hits the ball, so he may be able to peel it back to carry. It should be very interesting if, for some reason, Barry GURNEY can make his way to the final match. That would be very interesting to see what happens.
Definitely a contrast of style. Looks like he's stuck a little bit there on the approach.
Well, now there's a mistake that you just don't want to see. Not when somebody's got a 4-bagger at you.
Yeah. Possibly.
That digs the hole a little deeper, unfortunately.
Don't know if he got a little fast with his feet there or if he's stuck on the corner, but...
you know what? You'd have to ask him, but it looked like he got a little quick. He hit a spot, he's stuck, and he missed to the right, and boy, I'll tell you what, there's no forgiveness either on the spares.
No. I laughed when we interviewed Rich WESCOM. He said the one thing he wanted to do when he was bowling for Bowling Evolved was make all the spares this year. That's always a good thing to do, and I don't care what kind of tournament you're bowling in, you gotta convert, you gotta close frames.
Yes, you do. Let's see with this one.
George on one, and comes in high. Ooh.
Well, now you see he didn't trust that ball as well. He missed a little bit, and the ball checked up early. So really, he's kind of in jail right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's stuck. He's going to have to make a decision real quick. Are you going to make a ball change, or do you just keep trying to work with this ball? It looks like he's throwing I can't quite see what he's throwing.
Yeah,
it looks like an IQ, but I can't tell from this far back.
Tough spare conversion here, 3, 6, 9, 10. A lot of bowlers get a little too straight on this, leave that 9 pin still standing. Let's see what George does here.
That's trouble.
Ooh, and oh.
Yep, that's trouble. It's really difficult, especially on this pattern, because on a house shot, you can kind of read what the ball's going to do with the oil in the middle, dry on the outside. This is flat across and done in strips, so it's really challenging. He really put himself, unfortunately, in a hole.
GURNEY with a commanding lead at this point, working off of his 4-bagger, coming up in the 6th frame.
He basically can put a spike right in there. Yeah. That's pretty good right there.
Pretty good shot. GURNEY converts 5 in a row. He is definitely sticking the nails into the coffin at this point. Things are almost shut closed, going into the 7th frame. Still a few frames to go, but you know it's going to be hard to see many mistakes coming from Barry GURNEY at this point.
I agree.
GURNEY always such a proponent for scratch bowling and competitive bowling. It's so great to see him come down to Laughlin and support what the Laughlin Cup was all about.
Well, once again, it just goes to show you can be obviously a little bit older and still be very, very competitive, you know?
GURNEY with his 7th frame shot.
Oh, wow, he's starting to get a feel of it. He's starting to get a feel of this pair.
Yeah. Got that a little. Well,
now maybe that left lane is going to burn a little bit. If the left lane opens up a little bit, you know, he's the only left-hander bowling right now, so he'll have he's got it going on. He's creating a little bit of spot there. So, boy, the train starts rolling. Who knows what he's going to do?
Looked like it got a little left off, off his hand, but came flying back. So yeah, if you have it, use it. George trying to maintain something here in the 7th too. Yeah, I think at this point he might just be pressing. What do you think, Eric?
Well, I mean, any good bowler can look back up and see your opponent, you know, spare 6 in a row at you, and you're shooting a $180, and you know you're down by 50, 60 pins. That being said, you know, you kind of just pack your stuff and go to the next one.
Yeah.
Chalk it up for experience, pick up a few dollars, and move on.
Yeah. George with the conversion.
Unfortunately, in bowling, there's no defense. It is all offense. There's no defense. It's when players get defensive, that's usually when there's trouble.
Coming up in our next round, we will have Jonathan Farrell out of Scottsdale, Arizona. Looks like unless burying a meteorite hitting the bowling center at this point, that Barry GURNEY is going to be moving on.
That's a pretty good pitch right there.
Yeah, good shot though. Good shot from George.
Good pitch right there.
I thought that was a pretty decent analogy there. You know, you had the meteor with storm at one point, didn't you? The bowling ball.
Meteor flash, yes.
Meteor flash. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I used that ball to win I used that ball in the outdoor tournament. I won with a black meteor flash. So yes, that's correct. Yep. Let's see what Barry can keep this thing going.
GURNEY,
pretty good shot right there.
Good shot. Another flush.
Well, I'd like to say he's lined in. What do you think?
I have a feeling that if he can maintain the pace and keep going, we're going to have some very high-scoring matches here for the next couple of matches. GURNEY 290 if he goes off the sheet here, coming up in the 9th frame. A lot of dead air there. I guess we should actually say something as he's flying. It's hard to talk when you have, you know, we're kind of just enjoying the match.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yep, that left lane.
And
That left lane is starting to make a pretty good move. So now all that you know, as you bowl, you feel confident. Now you can miss a little left, and the ball comes back, and if you get it up the lane, it holds. Well, that starts to build confidence in your stroke, and it feels better.
Yeah, he's been throwing the ball very well. I mean, all day today. I mean, even in the first squad, he struggled a little bit early in his first test squad, but he really came back strong. George, yeah, at this point, it's.
But again, you try to circle it like that. He's going around it. When you try to circle it, you better have enough hand or enough cover stock to bring it back.
I'd like to see him on a cheetah pattern. So I think that'd be a very interesting pattern to see him bowl on.
I watched him bowl in Las Vegas, and he's won a lot of 5-gamers at South Point on different patterns. But when he strikes a lot. But when it gets challenging, like anybody else, it's a little tough to find the pocket.
Well, spare conversion there. 2-8.
And if you happen to catch a pair, that's a little tricky, and you're kind of stuck on it, you know.
Yeah.
So he can do a $185. And obviously, he's going to fall short. Barry can go off the sheet for 290.
Definitely a little spectacular here. Have a very
so
nice.
Barry can shoot 190, 290.
It's an interesting turnaround.
You know?
Definitely have a nice little crowd watching the show today, which is always nice to see. People coming out to support the tournament.
That's a little left off his hand.
Lane 1, yeah. Ooh. 3-6 still standing. Now,
he's just trying to get out of his way right now for the most part, and let Barry finish it up, and you know, we'll see what happens. So far, it looks like that senior experience is showing its way.
Senior experience. Now, you wouldn't know any of that from personal experience,
no,
though, right?
I wouldn't know that. I'm barely 25 years old myself.
Oh, there's some another dead air moment there after a while.
Yeah. Oh well. I was 25 once, 27 years ago.
Well, we asked a trivia question between squads. Someone thought you won the PBA National Championship in 1972. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not talking to them anymore. There's no discussion. I was 12 then. Sorry. Good shot.
What was it like bowling with Dick Weber on the Budweisers back in the day?
I wouldn't know. I only saw the movies. I only saw the films. Well, it was a little disappointing, 173, but you know, KRIS has got to feel good overall because he made the top 5. That's what it's all about.
He's taking home a paycheck and you know, got some more experience for next time.
Exactly.
You know, Gurney hoping to light up the audience here and finish out strong. 3 more strikes, 290. First ball in the 10th. Ooh, looked like he eased up a little bit on that one.
Yeah, he's got the ball in a little bit eased up, and there's not a lot of forgiveness because it's not a house shot. So he can shoot 260.
Going up, line up for the spare at this point. 4-7.
Are we going to fill the 10th frame? Yes.
All right, good shot by Gurney.
Little 260.
It appears our media producer is coming to the booth, and someone you're quite familiar with, Eric.
Yes! Yes! I remember her from somewhere, yes. That's a good shot. Oh, he ripped that 7 right out. 268.
This is Shelly Forkel just stopped in, and Gurney with a phenomenal game right there. We're going to take
Senior power!
Senior power. Big smile from Barry Gurney there. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this.